We're familiar with John Donne's poem, "No man is an island," entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. I don't think there's anyone who hasn't at times felt separate and apart. You know? The island of Frank. The island of Peter. It's not true, but has it ever felt that way? Have you ever felt disconnected? Well, it's a lie. It never was true. But it truly can be a sense that we feel. And this month, we are seeking the common good. That's our theme. The value for this month is oneness. And today is about the joy of interdependence. You see, as we're maturing physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, we go through the different stages. We had to learn to sit up after we rolled over. As I recall, that was the sequence. And then we could crawl and pull ourselves up and then walk and fall down and get up again. And fall down and get up again and walk some more. And then we ran and then we were playing ball and all those other things. We're always in the process of development, maturation. And in the meantime, we go through various stages. And these stages are from complete dependence, where everything is done for us, to independence. You know that phrase, right? I can do it all by myself. That's thanks to my eldest son. He was 2. And ultimately we come to the next stage, which is interdependence, where we understand that there are times that we want to be loved and supported, like maybe all the time. There are times that we want to do things ourselves, thank you very much. And there are times, finally, we grow into this stage of consciousness where we want to do things together with other people. In a community, maybe a small one first, like the community of your own home. And this is where we get to do our inner work, where I'm healing my own consciousness about what is possible within myself, and then between me and the other people that I care about. And then we get those larger communities like the neighborhood and the office and our spiritual community and beyond. So no one is truly dependent or independent, for we are absolutely we are intertwined with all of humanity. And that's absolutely as it should be. Now, interdependence is not codependence, but love with its sleeves rolled up. I love that. I came across, I don't know who said it, but interdependence is love with its sleeves rolled up. Let's get together and do some good work and play while we're at it. That's interdependence the way I see it. In relationships, individual personal relationships, it's wonderful to establish a very healthy balance between a shared partnership and a strong sense of self. Wednesday Night Live, when Reverend Mike and I were doing, she said we were sharing some of that. You got a little peek behind the curtain, didn't you? And in community, we want to care and be cared for. We want to support and be supported. That's what we are continuously working to do right here, and other conscious caring groups of people. So as we're led by our inner wisdom, that's where we ask the questions. So we become leaders. We allow ourselves to be led, and we become leaders. And we encourage and inspire others in their leadership. What's tomorrow? President's Day. Do you remember when we used to have 2 celebrations? February 12th was Abraham Lincoln's birthday. 22nd was George Washington's birthday. They lumped them all together. Okay, well, that's a fine thing, but I would like to look at something that, this is kind of funny, but I'm quoting from myself. This is tomorrow's daily message. For those who receive my daily messages Monday through Friday, it'll be an echo tomorrow. Leading or following, we're wise to listen to the voice of intuitive knowing within. The statesmen and women of the past who did so led their countries with clarity and courage, always seeking the greater good for all. As we find individual ways to honor President's Day this weekend, we realize that each of us is designed to lead a life of caring, consideration, and courage. It is only our own personal responsibilities over which we have real control. So this is the right place to focus today. Of course, the most outstanding leaders are also the best followers. Followers of wisdom that is greater than the human intellect, which brings clear knowing of what truly are best decisions for everyone. Each day, we face choices which must be given conscious consideration. So let's be sure to tune in often to that inner knower and allow ourselves to be led confidently to each right and perfect decision. Let's also support all the people in our immediate community and in the larger world who live from that integrity and honor them with our respect and our encouragement. Even if you have a family member you admire for their leadership qualities, fairness, mindfulness, wisdom, etc., consider expressing your appreciation to them as you maintain your own sense of integrity in all that you do. That's being president of your own life. We all get to be the president of our own lives. Congratulations. You'll get a raise. There won't be a company car, but I'll make you a plaque. So together we keep the high vision. All right, in current events, we must be love with its sleeves rolled up. Every day, we must maintain that higher vision because it is through our own inner work, our shared work, our creative imagination, our prayerful work, that we hold the higher vision that must ultimately come into being. Thank goodness we're not the only ones doing this. There are beautiful light workers all over the world. And we join with them every day, keeping our consciousness clear, not permitting ourselves to get lost in whatever may be going on in the world that is not at all pleasant. Okay, I'm quoting from myself again. I promise it's the last time today. When the first government shutdown happened, I wrote this. Life never shuts down. There is valid concern about the recent and ongoing government shutdown and the painful and dangerous consequences many people are experiencing. The no end in sight adds even greater confusion, fear, and anger. These circumstances certainly must be addressed, and soon. However, we must also be willing to view a larger picture and invite real and powerful solutions to emerge. First of all, we must all deepen our faith in people of goodwill and in life itself. Nature proves to us that nothing can impede the flow of a healthy river, and bright, caring people tend to step up to keep that stream of abundance continuing to flow above temporary circumstances. As Franklin Delano Roosevelt once wisely said, say it with me if you remember it, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Let's move out of anxiety and into the realization that no human problem is ever solved with the same consciousness with which it was created. There is an answer, and the more we open to it, the sooner it will be revealed. To lift our minds above the turmoil, we can begin noticing how beautifully the cycles of life continue. Regardless of an unusual weather event or a temporary disaster, consider current events to be flowing with the current of life's wisdom. as you do your part to bring serenity to our hearts, courage to our minds, trusting a greater power to work through us and to bring healthy, sane, and workable solutions. Together we keep our vision high. I love what Jesus said. I love a lot of things Jesus said. He said, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. A yoke is simply a connection, right? It is easy to connect with Source by simply moving away from the challenges and the concerns and any personal anxiety or any world angst and get connected. Come to the center and get connected. My yoke is easy. Now, burden is simply something to carry. It doesn't necessarily mean it's heavy. It's something to carry. My yoke is easy. We get connected by being willing to become reconnected to our source. My burden is light. What I carry is the light. We're all carrying the light when we remember that we are the light workers. My yoke is easy. It's easy to get connected. It's too easy sometimes to get distracted. Let's move from the distraction to the connection. Let's come deeply into that center where the love abides in fullness and the wisdom guides us constantly, step by step. It is delightful to engage in mutual support with all the people in our world, the small groups, the larger groups, and in meditation and in spiritual mind prayer treatment, the world itself. It's delightful to engage in this connectivity. You know, no one can whistle a symphony. Have you ever tried? Have you ever tried to whistle a symphony, Jonathan? It takes a whole orchestra to play it. A whole orchestra. And all of the instruments. This one conducts them all the time. All of the instruments have to be in tune. They have to be bringing their best game. And they have to be open to listening to one another. And doing this beautiful work together. And they need a wonderful conductor. We all have a wonderful conductor. Whether or not it's Emily, I don't know. I do know it's the divine source within us. It's that infinite wisdom within us that conducts the beautiful symphony of our personal lives, of the life of this beloved center, of our greater community, and of course of the world itself. I love what the anthropologist, the wonderful anthropologist Margaret Mead said, remember? Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Let's not get lost in externals. Let's not slip into any human race conscious beliefs that say, nothing I can do. We are the leaders in our lives. And this is a group of bright, caring, conscious, committed leaders working together to make a difference, certainly in our own lives. Of course we wish to be healthier, happier, more prosperous, more loving, more wise, more conscious, more caring, more satisfied in our work and our play. This kind of inner commitment brings about the most beautiful demonstrations of good in our lives. And this caring, conscious commitment brings about the great good that we can do together in our community. Let's look at those positive examples of people, very different people, coming together and learning from each other and loving each other and supporting each other. Anybody seen The Upside? If not, will you please go see it? it is one of the most heartfelt, funniest, most meaningful movies I've seen in a long time, based on a true story. The gifts that these two men gave to each other, you would never have believed could have ever happened until you see it. Understanding and honoring our interconnectedness, then we move beyond all those false senses of separation. We come into the oneness, because the oneness is our basic natural way of being. We came from the one life, God's life, our life, life of every sentient being. That was our natural beginning. And then we just forgot a few things. We had some spiritual amnesia. But we're awakening now, and we're helping each other awaken to the truth that we are unified with the presence of love and wisdom. We are unified with infinite possibility. We are unified with each other. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, we may have all come from different ships, but we're all in the same boat now. And it's a beautiful boat. We can row together. And when we advance to a certain degree, we'll be able to stop rowing and we can turn the engine on. And the engine, of course, is God power, not trying to do it all ourselves, but letting that precious power guide and direct us and show us the way and move us forward. It's not about ego, it is not about self-praise, but it's about realizing that we are all, each one of us, essential. And we have the honor of doing our part, no matter how small. Were you Tolkien fans? Did you love Bilbo Baggins, Frodo, Gandalf, all the little critters? My precious. Well, the Tolkien books follow Bilbo Baggins on a treacherous adventure. Remember? To return stolen land and recover a magic ring from the dragon Smaug. I often wonder if he had some foreshadowing about Los Angeles or something, Smaug. At the end of the book, this is the part that just got, because I was so into these. Oh my gosh, they just transported me. I read every book. And at the end, remember, this whole thing takes place in Middle Earth. And at the end of the last book of the trilogy, I think it was, there's a whole listing, pages of a chronology of the history of Middle Earth. And what I couldn't believe when I was looking for the whole adventures and the heroic expressions of goodness that Bilbo and the others did, I figured there'd be a page or two on that. There was one tiny little entry. It's like, but I've been with you for 3 books now. This is all you get? He wasn't looking for the credit, so he didn't need the credits. But what I got, this was years ago that I read them. And when I read that, something really clicked within my heart and soul. And it was, Maxine, all you need to do is your small but important part. And as I do my small but important part, and each of us does our small but important part, with our hearts open to each other and our minds coming with great creative ideas to move forward in this life, we've done our part. What a relief. As Ernest Holmes says, we don't want statues erected to us. We don't care if anybody even remembers that we're here when we leave the planet. While we're here, we want to do the part that is ours to do. And isn't it beautiful every morning in meditation and in prayer to ask, what is mine to do today? Let me do what is mine to do today. in a consciousness of interrelatedness, knowing that we are all doing, each doing our very, very important part. Wow. So, it was then, and it is still now, and it will forever be, for me, the importance of my own part in the larger scheme of things, respecting and honoring that each of you and everybody else on the planet is, at that point in their growth in consciousness, doing what is theirs to do. In fact, J.R.R. Tolkien, I never found out what all of his first and middle names were, but he said, all have their worth, and each contributes to the worth of others. We all have our worth, and we all contribute to the worth of others. Will you say with me, Divine Mind is my source. I'm grateful to be one with all beings. I happily do my important part. I am connected to everything and everyone. And so, my beloveds, beginneth our lesson.